Beautiful sunshiny day here in Jacksonville. Week 7, it's the Jaguars and San Diego. These two teams meeting for the first time since 2011. Jacksonville winning the toss, electing to defer and will kick. So the Chargers and Phillip Rivers will have it. Josh Scobie on to kick. 10th-year man out of Louisiana Tech. And back deep to return, Lavelle Hawkins. And Eric Weddle from their own end zone. Only the 6th all-time meeting between these two. Scobie's kick booms through the back of the end zone. And that is where Phillip Rivers and the Chargers will start. Rivers, what a start statistically. We hit on it right at the top. On pace in certain statistical categories to shatter some of his previous marks. Today making his 119th consecutive start. That's second among active quarterbacks behind only Eli Manning, who will make his 134th straight start tomorrow night for the Giants. Ball spotted at the 20. As this Jacksonville defense will try to set the tone. A Jacksonville team that has been hammered here in their first 2 home games, to the tune of 65-5. First and 10, Rivers from the gun from the 20. Over the middle. What a combination that tandem has been. Antonio Gates over the middle for 6. Sets up a second and short. Up front starters in front of Rivers. DJ Fluker, the 11th overall pick. 2-time national champion at Alabama. Backs and receivers for the Chargers. Keenan Allen, what a 3-game stretch for the rookie out of Cal. 3rd-round pick. Last week's 2nd straight 100-yard game in that Monday night win over the Colts. 2nd and 4. This is Ryan Matthews. Finds the edge. He's got the first down and another chunk of yardage across the 40 after a run of 10. Starters defensively for Gus Bradley, Bob Babich, and Jacksonville, Jason Babin, their leading sack man with 2 through the first 6 weeks. 10th year out of Western Michigan. First full season here in Jacksonville. This defense headlined by that man in the middle, Paul Posluszny. Jonathan Cyprien, the rookie safety, a question mark today with a calf, in uniform and making the start. So 1st and 10 after the Matthews run. They spot it at the 39. Matthews' 2nd straight time trying to find the edge, and a good start for the San Diego offense. Steve, the only thing better than the game plan that Mike McCoy and Ken Wisenhunt drew up last Monday night was the execution. Incredible time of possession in a dominant performance against the Colts. Yeah, they had the ball 4 drives over 10 plays. Just completely dominated the Indianapolis Colts as far as time of possession. 24 more plays, and it's because of plays like the last 2 that we saw. Good, strong, physical runs by Ryan Matthews. Get that offensive line pumped up because they get fired up when they make big plays in the running game. 6-yard run by Matthews sets up a 2nd and 4, and once again they work from the gun from around the 45. Rivers feels the pocket collapse, is going to run it. Excellent blocking. Sideline pass is caught. That's Vincent Brown, the 3rd-year man who has been thrust into a more prominent role with the injuries. Denario Alexander and Malcolm Floyd going down with the injuries.
Well, look right here. You just see Vincent Brown in the inside slot position right here. Watch him break outside. He's open early, wide open right now, but Phillip Rivers is looking to his left, and then he says, oh, wait a minute, there's space out there. Should have gone to you early. Thank goodness they had a chance to get to it late.
And this has really been the case for San Diego all season. The NFL's 3rd highest scoring team on drives to open the 1st and 3rd quarters all season. 1st and 10 inside Jacksonville territory at the 44. Here is Matthews. Steve mentioned it last week, his first 100-yard rushing game since December of 2011. Former 1st-round pick in 2010, a Pro Bowler, Steve, his rookie year, but has never quite maximized that potential that they had in mind when they drafted him.
Well, he's got by far the longest active streak of carries without a touchdown in the NFL. 241 carries come into this game without a touchdown, but Mike McCoy believes that last week might have been a turning point for him because he really ran the ball physical, aggressive, and we're seeing more of it today.
3-yard run by Matthews. 2nd and 7. Rivers Little sidearm slingshot over the middle, finds the backup tight end, John Phillips, the 50-year vet out of Virginia. 6 yards, and brought down about 1.5 yards short of the marker.
Well, John Phillips, the big blocking tight end, not really a big part of the passing game in general, but right there, Phillip Rivers comes down to him, and Phillip Rivers was a little bit upset after that play. He wanted Phillips to turn it up the field. Get up the field, big man. Don't try to run to the sideline. You're not going to outrun anybody.
And you'd be hard-pressed to find a more animated quarterback in the NFL than Phillip Rivers. This is 3rd and 3 from the 37. Rivers over the middle, first down inside the 25-yard line as Rivers and this offense churning out yardage here at the start. That time to Ladarius Green, the 3rd-string tight end.
You're going to see Ladarius Green come across the field, and this is showing the versatility of this offense. Mike McCoy wanting to spread the ball around. If they're going to try and focus on Antonio Gates, Ladarius Green, only his 4th catch of the year, but coming into that play right there, he was averaging almost 25 yards a catch. This guy can get up the field and make plays.
This is 1st and 10 inside the 25-yard line. San Diego keeps it on the ground. It's Matthews again for 1 yard. The other reason Rivers seems to think he's had more success this year, Steve, they've gone to that kind of no-huddle, no-hurry offense as Rivers has gotten it out a lot quicker. And last week we saw Rivers as more of a game manager than he's been the last couple of years.
Well, you can tell it's not an up-tempo. What it is, it gets people out of the huddle. It lets Phillip Rivers look at the defense so he can analyze and decide where the best matchup on the field is.
2nd and 8. And keep it on the ground. Again, that's Danny Woodhead, the 60-year man. First season here with San Diego. Tackle made by Tyson Alu. And what a start for Danny Woodhead, one of the new faces in Ken Wisenhunt's offense. 3 touchdowns, Steve, over the last 3 weeks.
I love this guy as a football player. That's exactly what he is. He's a football player. And people in San Diego have already fallen in love with this kid. But what he does, you'll see him flexed out in the slot receiver position. You'll see him outside one-on-one.
First team timeout, San Diego.
San Diego see it's something they didn't like, burning an early timeout, driving on CBS. Back in Jacksonville, 10th play of the drive for the Chargers that started at their own 20. This is where their offense has stalled this season. A touchdown ratio in the red zone of just 50%. 3rd and 6 from the 20. This has usually been Danny Woodhead time on 3rd down. He lines up at the top of your picture. Rivers over the middle, bobbling catch by the tight end Gates, and a San Diego first down after a pickup of 7.
But every team, every quarterback has their go-to guy. You see right here, Phillip Rivers is looking Antonio Gates all the way. He knows exactly what they're going to do on the same page every single time. Look at that double whammy on Phillip Rivers right there. I'll tell you, San Diego better figure that out because nobody can withhold that kind of pressure all day long. Getting hit by 2 of those big boys at the same time, that will take a toll.
That was Andre Branch and Jason Babin coming from the edges on that play. So now inside the 20, they line up at the Jacksonville 13 on 1st and 10. 5 wide receivers for Rivers over the middle. Again, it's Gates inside the 10. And tackled by Posluszny right after the catch. After a pickup of 4, they are the most prolific quarterback tight end tandem in history, Steve. 58 touchdowns between them.
And this is where it really shows up. This is where the majority of those touchdowns come. And when you talk about the red zone, San Diego's only been average this year, 50%. That's right about middle of the road as far as the NFL, but they're going against the number 32 ranked red zone defense in the NFL in Jacksonville.
2nd and 6. Woodhead right up the gut, taking on a hit at the 3. And that was an NFL collision that time. Jonathan Cyprien, the rookie safety, just lowering the shoulder, and what a collision this was. 7-yard run for Woodhead.
Big physical play, both sides of the ball. Great job by the right side of the offensive line. Center Nick Harwick, Jerome Clary, the right guard, and DJ Fluker, the 1st-round draft choice out of Alabama. Danny Woodhead slammed it up in there. And when you talk Woodhead, we'll have a lot of chances to mention it today, but he lines up everywhere in the field, that time right behind the quarterback.
First and goal, Woodhead again, draw play, end zone, touchdown! And San Diego, as a penalty marker is thrown, and it looks like the officials pointing to the
Offside,
Chargers.
number 58, defense lined up in the neutral zone. That penalty's declined. Touchdown.
So the touchdown stands, and an opening drive for 6 for San Diego.
Yeah, they called Jason Babin for lining up in the neutral zone, but it didn't matter to San Diego. Right there, Danny Woodhead taking it in. He's got a great nose for that goal line. That's his first rushing touchdown of the year.
4th touchdown of the season for Woodhead. The former undrafted rookie came into the league with the Jets in 2008. As the Nebraska native makes it 7-0. San Diego, point after by Nick Novak. Perfect. Mike McCoy and San Diego trying to pick up where they left off Monday night. 7-0 on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Back with you from Jacksonville. You see the Chargers scoring drive. What a roll this San Diego offense is on. Time of possession Steve hit on last Monday night. Nearly 39 minutes in the victory over Indianapolis. And Steve, they start here with an 80-play drive, 80-yard drive, 13 plays. As the kickoff by Novak, fielded by Jordan Todman. A little space up the sideline across the 25 and brought down at about the 27. Chad Henne in Jacksonville will try to answer when we come back here watching the NFL on CBS. Fantasy football fans, check out CBSSports.com. Play a challenge. It's a new 4-week game with a cash prize in every league. See rules and sign up at CBSSports.com/challenge. So Phillip Rivers and San Diego making their first statement, and now Chad Henne, whose wife gave birth to the couple's first child this week, his wife Brittany, giving birth to their son Chase, 6 pounds 10 ounces. See what he's done, making second straight start for the injured Blaine Gabbert. Gabbert out with that hamstring tweak that he sustained a couple of weeks ago in St. Louis. First and 10, they fake the end around. Henne airing it out down the middle of the field. It's incomplete. So Steve Jed Fish, their first-year offensive coordinator, a little trickery on their first play.
Well, they had a chance to make a big play. I think if they would have been able to block Kendall Reyes, number 91, coming up, getting pressure on Chad Henne right there coming out of the gates, he might have had a chance to hold that ball a little longer. He paid the price big time. It's a big man coming with a full head of steam.
Intended receiver was Shorts, who was question mark today. Here's Maurice Jones-Drew. A lot of real estate across the 35, close to the first down marker. He's got it. Run of 11 and a Jacksonville first down. Take a look at the offensive starters. Brad Meester, the 14th-year veteran, today making his 200th straight appearance. Cecil Shorts, who mentioned that shoulder injury, making the start. This is 1st and 10 from inside the 40. Maurice Jones-Drew. A fumble late on the play. You see Henne diving on it. No signal from the officials. Now they say Jones-Drew was down by contact, as he is barely able to get to the original line of scrimmage.
Well, this is a guy that protects the football about as well as anybody in the NFL. He hit the ground. Yeah, the elbow hit the ground. Play was definitely over. But I'll tell you, you show that football on the ground to a defense, they start coming like piranhas, believe me.
Larry English, the former first-round pick of the Chargers, making the tackle. 2nd and 9 inside the 40. And he has time, airs it out over the middle. It's caught, and it's Mercedes Lewis. Still rumbling inside San Diego territory, down to the 26-yard line. 32 yards and a huge Jacksonville first down.
Well, this is Mercedes Lewis' first time back since injuring his calf. He's missed every game this year. We talked about it in the open, what a significance this was going to be for this offense, both in the running game and in the passing game. He's 6'7", a huge target, working the middle of the field for Chad Henne.
Henny, little screen pass to Shorts on the sideline. Shorts has some room, stepped out of bounds. Looks like they'll mark it down at around the 24-yard line after a pickup of 5. Defensive starters for San Diego: Corey Leggett headlining the front. Linebackers, Manti Te'o in. He will be the man calling the signals. Donald Butler out a second straight game with a groin pull. And Derek Cox, first 4 years of his career here in Jacksonville, today facing his former team for the first time. It'll be 2nd and 5 from the Chargers' 24. Maurice Jones-Drew lines up in the eye in front of his fullback, Will Tal-Fall. This is Henny. Faking and going down. Buried in the backfield by Legion. And Henny never had a chance as they dump him for a loss of 9.
That was Corey Leggett, like you said, along with Torek Williams. This was a screen pass going to Maurice Jones-Drew, and he was wide open. But Chad Henne could not see him through the mass of Corey Leggett right there. But I think Jacksonville had a good shot at getting that screen play off. If he could have just gotten that ball over the top to Maurice Jones-Drew, that might have been a nice gainer. Ends up being a bad play for him instead.
Justin Forsett, the 60-year running back, comes in on 3rd and 14. Henny again pressured and going backwards. And the Chargers defense answering with back-to-back sacks. Jaleel Adai, the rookie out of Central Michigan, getting there first.
Well, you see Justin Blackmon right there kind of blanketed. They had coverage over the top from a safety too, so he wasn't going to be a factor. I think Chad Henne and Jacksonville expect to see that quite a bit today. But one thing that Jedd Fisch has got to be concerned about is the pressure that San Diego's been able to generate on this first drive. That was something they were able to manufacture last week against Andrew Luck in Indianapolis as well.
Well, this is an offensive front for Jacksonville that has had a couple of changes. I mentioned Luke Joeckel, their 2nd overall pick. That broken ankle in St. Louis a couple of weeks back. And right now they're down 7-0 first quarter to San Diego.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon. Powerful answers. And by USAA, proudly serving the financial needs of current and former military members and their families.
Beautiful Sunday afternoon, back with you here in Jacksonville. Cecil Shorts getting some instruction on that Jacksonville sideline. 7-0 Chargers as Philip Rivers and company back onto the field. 1st and 10 from the 20. Rivers over the middle, wide open is the rookie Keenan Allen. Major defensive breakdown for Jacksonville as Allen burns him for 26 and a Chargers first down.
Here's Keenan Allen right here. Watch, you're going to get a clear out inside by Vincent Brown, and Keenan Allen's going to come across the middle. Look what the play action does to Ryan Matthews right there. Holds the linebackers in the hole. Philip Rivers is throwing that ball into. Massive. Great play design. All of it works together. You get that run game established. All of a sudden, there's holes in the middle of the field.
So they spotted just out past the 45. Rivers so far still pitching a perfect game. 7 of 7. This is Matthews running towards the outside. Late marker thrown behind the line of scrimmage. As we move inside of 3 minutes.
Number 66, offense. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
That's Jerome Clary, the 7th-year veteran out of Kansas State, on the penalty. Well, there's Keenan Allen, a young man who told us yesterday in our chat with San Diego that he was awful. Said he was terrible, Steve, in the preseason, but he has come out of nowhere these last 3 weeks. You see his numbers last week against the Colts, 2nd straight game of 100-plus yards receiving, and they have needed him out of necessity. We mentioned the injuries to Alexander and Malcolm Floyd. And what a chemistry there has been between the rookie Allen and Rivers. So after the penalty to Jeremy Clary, it's 1st and 20. And a marker thrown from the top of your picture. Jason Babbitt and Philip Rivers having a little chat.
Yeah, Philip Rivers will give you an earful.
Full start, number 13, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That was Keenan Allen on the jumping off side, but that's one of the things that kind of endears Philip Rivers to his teammates, and Mike McCoy talked about the leadership ability this guy has. You know, he's not afraid to stir it up and let you know what's on his mind. And sometimes you got to be careful, though. It might draw a penalty or draw a little extra aggression from the defender.
Gates in the slot. Rivers sacked. Everyone coming up the gut for the Chargers send Derek Marks. First-year man here in Jacksonville, getting there first.
Well, you talked to Gus Bradley. First guy he brings up on his defense is Derek Marks, and the numbers don't show up stat-wise, but he has been a force in the middle. We got a player down on the field for San Diego.
Looks like King Dunlap, a 60-year tackle out of Auburn, is the man that the Chargers trainers are looking at. Timeout, 7-0 San Diego. Stay with us. King Dunlap, the blindside protector. Phillip Rivers has to walk off on his own power, but very gingerly. Steve, that could be a huge loss if he's unable to come back.
Yeah, this is a team that already has lost several starting offensive linemen. Chad Reinhardt, they only have 7 active offensive linemen today. If King Dunlap can't come back, they're really thin.
Mike Remmers into the game at tackle, at least for the moment. On second down and long, they've already lost 24 yards in the drive with a couple of penalties. That time, Andre Branch with a crunching hit after a pickup of only a yard. Ronnie Brown on his first carry. Let's get the penalty.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 99, defense. After the play is over, 15 yards, automatic first down.
That is a huge penalty against Derek Marks. I mean, you got the Chargers backed up, 3rd and forever, and you give them you make a great play in the backfield, and Derek Marks gives him 15 yards and a first down. You're going to see it right here. He's going to come right.
That's the taunting penalty. And you see kind of the way in your picture. And Steve, they had a critical 3rd down defensive penalty last week in Denver.
I think that is, unless there was something else going on that pile, I think that is a very marginal call.
So instead of 3rd and 20 plus, 1st and 10 after the defensive penalty. Here's Woodhead creeping through the line of scrimmage across the 40 after a pickup of 4. We send you to New York in an update with James Brown.
Defense helping the Bears.
We've had defensive scores early, and Peanut Tillman's going to have the 10th interception of the year for Chicago. It's going to lead to this 2-yard Matt Forte run as they take a 10-3 lead early in the first quarter.
Spiro and Steve.
All right, so a lot of interesting games. Early lead for Chicago. Bears rolling there, up 7. This is 2nd and 6. Chargers drive that was going backwards to start. And great new life does Jacksonville with that critical defensive penalty. Ryan Matthews across the 45, close to the first down marker after a pickup of 4, maybe 5. Final seconds coming off in this quarter.
Well, if I'm Gus Bradley, I'm going back to that penalty. If I'm Gus Bradley, I'm very upset about that call. I want to go back and look at it when we get a chance, but for Derek Marks to be called for unsportsmanlike conduct, to give him a first down after being 3rd and 30, that's a huge play in the ball game.
So that's the end of the first quarter with your score. Chargers 7, Jaguars nothing. We'll return to Jacksonville after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
Now, we went back and looked at this play, and there was a little bit of unnecessary. Right here at the top of the screen, you see Derek Marks coming up and just kind of giving him a little shove. Now, I think that was just because Jeremy Clary was off balance. He almost fell over, but I guess the referee had a definite reason to throw that flag. Got to keep your composure.
3rd and a critical 1 play. It's the fullback, LaRon McClain. Chargers needed to get to the 48, and at first glance, I don't think he got it.
Yeah, that was a good stand. Good physical stand by Jacksonville's front 4 there for sure.
Steve, any thought here? What does Mike McCoy do?
Well, I would be very surprised in this situation if Mike McCoy didn't decide to go for it. Although you got another offensive lineman hobbling on the field right now too. That's Mike Remmers, the guy that came in and subbed for King Dunlap. He's down on the ground. So now we talked about it. they only have one extra lineman, and he's not a tackle. That extra offensive lineman is Rich Ornberger. He's a backup guard and center today. So if King Dunlap cannot come back in the ball game now, they're going to have a major problem.
So a favorable spot, and it looks as though they do have the first down, and they get it by about 3 inches. But now the obvious concern at that left tackle position, King Dunlap, the starter, had to hobble off a moment ago, and now his replacement, Remmers, is having that left ankle looked at. So early stages of the second, Chargers driving in front by 7 when we come back. Well, so many more different aspects of the game that Mike McCoy has to manage now as a first-year head coach, not a coordinator anymore. And now major concerns with the Chargers offensive line. Already down a starter coming into today's game. No Chad Reinhardt. King Dunlap, Steve, their starting left tackle, leaving the game a couple of minutes ago. And now Mike Remmers, his replacement, being carted off the field.
Yeah, and everybody's concerned for San Diego, but the two most concerned, Mike McCoy and, of course, Phillip Rivers. But what this is going to do to their offensive line now, it's going to move DJ Fluker, the first-round draft choice, who's their starting right tackle, over to left tackle. They're bringing in the backup guard, Rich Ornberger, to play right guard, and they're moving right guard Jeremy Clary out to right tackle. So you can see the problems that this is going to cause right now. Losing 2 offensive linemen always is a killer, but losing 2 left tackles is a disaster offensively. So they're going to have their work cut out for them to keep Phillip Rivers up and get this running game going.
An offensive line that, despite all the injuries, has allowed just 10 sacks all season long. 1st and 10. Matthews a burst inside Jacksonville territory. Big first down run to the 40 as he churns out 13 yards.
Well, so far so good for this makeshift offensive line. Just a trap play on the inside, right up the middle, and shoot. Ryan Matthews, he'll take that hole every single time. Great job by the guys up front, giving him that nice seam to hit it up in there.
You see Matthews' numbers at the top of your screen, over 40 yards on 6 carries. As they line up inside the 40. Matthews to the edge. Cuts back, taking on Leslie. Hard collision at the 35. We send you back to New York, get an update. James Brown and Bill Cowher.
Patriots make Geno pay.
Yeah, the 4th defensive return for a touchdown already just today. Logan Ryan steps in front of his Geno Smith pass. The rookie from Rutgers takes it back 79 yards. And remember, Geno had 3 picks in the first game against them. And right now, we have New England leading 14-7.
Spiro and Steve.
Bill Belichick loves going against rookie quarterbacks. He has a lot of fun messing with them.
2nd and 6, screen pass. Rivers throw a little bit off target, but an excellent catch by Eddie Royal. And a 6-yard pickup. San Diego rolling with another first down. If you think bungee jumping into ice waters is amazing, you've got to see the Amazing Race tonight after 60 minutes. Only CBS. We're in Jacksonville. Spiro Ditas, Steve Berline, our entire CBS crew. San Diego 3-3, looking for 2nd straight win. They have not won back-to-back games all season. Right now in front, 7-0. 1st and 10. Play action from Rivers. Sideline wide open is Royal lunging. Touchdown. 27 yards from Rivers.
Well, brilliant design, great play call, good protection from the offensive line. You're going to see Eddie Royal going up the field. He's in the slot. They got a trips formation. This is him right here. He's going to go up to the corner. You got Gates going down the middle, and a great throw by Phillip Rivers. Eddie Royal, that's his sixth touchdown pass of the year. He had 5 in the first 2 weeks of the season, got bumped up a little bit now. The question is, did he flew all the way in there, yeah. Got it over the top of that pile, and I think that's a touchdown.
That is as good a play as you will see.
Now,
that back left foot, Steve, land out of bounds before the ball broke the plane. That's what the officials are looking at.
Yeah, that's the question. Now, when does the ball break the plane?
Keep an eye on his left foot.
Left
right
foot
there.
down.
The previous play will be reviewed.
Now keep in mind the call on the field is a touchdown, so they need conclusive video evidence to overturn, and they will take a look. So as it stands, 13-0 as that touchdown under review. Stay with us.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx. Request when and where your packages are delivered with FedEx Delivery Manager. Chrysler, imported from Detroit. And by State Farm, it pays to double check. Talk to your agent today.
Here in Jacksonville, not a cloud in the sky. That 27-yard touchdown pass under review. Rivers to Eddie Royal. Call on the field was a touchdown.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
Again, you need that conclusive video evidence, Stephen. They felt like they didn't have it.
Yeah, it's so bang when his foot hits the ground and when he crosses that plane to the goal line. That's a tough call. I think it's the right call to not overturn that.
And the machine-like precision, Steve, from Phillip Rivers continues. Told you about his numbers last Monday night against the Colts. Rivers so far 9 of 9, 107 yards, and a 27-yard touchdown to Royal.
Oh, great. Just brilliantly executed the first 2 drives of this ball game by Phillip Rivers.
Flags, whistles, whistle play dead there.
False start, 61. Offense, 5 yards. Redo the try.
We have just been told by the San Diego sideline that King Dunlap has a concussion and will not return. Still no word on his replacement, Mike Remmers, who went down a couple of plays later with what appeared to be a left ankle injury. But so far, they just keep churning out yardage and points.
That's exactly right. Good sign as far as that goes, but it doesn't seem like either one of those guys will be coming back today, most likely.
Novak on for the point after. And what a start for San Diego. That defensive penalty looming large on Jacksonville. 2-touchdown lead for the Chargers. Oh, Phillip Rivers, the 10-year gunslinger, a couple of 80-yard touchdown drives to start.
And what a day it's been. He's just continuing his high level of play. Coming into the game, over 72% completion, by far a career high. And Spiro, he only needs 262 yards passing a day to reach 30,000 yards for his career. And that would be, if he were to do it today in his 123rd game, he would be the 5th fastest player in the history of the NFL to reach 30,000 yards. So quite an accomplishment. What a career he's had to this point, and seriously rejuvenated this year.
Novak to kick. Todman about 9 yards deep in his own end zone, and it will be a touchback. So Rivers, we mentioned 9 of 9, Steve. He has completed to 6 different receivers. And again, he has had incredible statistical seasons over the years. You see his numbers so far today. But considering the injuries, his top 2 receivers, Denario Alexander, the ACL, Malcolm Floyd, the neck injury, both out for the season. Considering that, the 2 guys out, what he has done has been remarkable.
Truly is. And you cannot say enough good things about him. You got to give a lot of credit to Mike McCoy as well. He refers to Phillip Rivers as special. He's got a lot of confidence in him and lets him just play the game.
So Henny and company barely had the football so far. That time of possession owned by the Chargers so far in the half. As the clock stopped here, 12:30. Shorts, question mark with that shoulder injury. 8-yard pass play to set up a 2nd and short.
I will say this, last comment on Phillip Rivers, though. He did, and he'd be the first one to admit this, the luxury of working under Norv Turner, who I worked with in Dallas when I played for the Cowboys, one of the best quarterback coaches in the game. And then Mike McCoy. That's a great combination of offensive minds to work under.
Of course, Ken Wisenhunt, their first year offensive coordinator, hired by McCoy just 2 days after he took the job. Maurice Jones-Drew 1, maybe 2. Larry English on the tackle. Collision inside that 30. And they say that he is short. It'll be 3rd and less than a yard. There's Wisenhunt on the sideline. Of course, experienced all the highs and lows you can as Arizona's head coach. Jacksonville keeps it on the ground. They've got the first down after a pickup of a couple.
Well, I like what Jacksonville did there. Jed Fish, he knows he's got to get this offense going. Gus Bradley, very obvious, down 14-0. This is not a come-from-behind football team, but it's still early. A lot of time left. They have to get the chains moving. What they did right there, 3rd and short, they tried to get up to the ball and get set before San Diego was ready for them, and it worked out. They got the first down.
If you just joined us, Jacksonville has had it for just 5 minutes in time of possession here at the 11-minute mark of the 2nd. 1st and 10 from the 30. There's Denard Robinson, the young man, the rookie from Michigan, who has not been much of a factor so far. Lowers his shoulder across the 35 to the 40, a pickup of 9. It'll be second and short.
This is a great confidence builder for Denard Robinson. He has not had many chances to make plays in the running game. He's a converted quarterback, and they say catching the ball hasn't come natural for him yet, but they want him involved. That's a big play for his confidence.
Cheyenne True! Hey!
Henny on 2nd and 1. Miscommunication. Steven looked like a wrong route, perhaps. Shorts was turning middle, and Henny threw it to the sideline. It'll be 3rd and short.
Well, Chad Henne checked, and he gave a signal right before the snap to Cecil Shorts, and guess what? Derek Cox, who was here in Jacksonville last year, knew the signal and jumped that route. That's what scared Chad Henne away from it. Derek Cox, in his first year with San Diego, taking advantage of his knowledge of this offense.
Henny is going to run it. First down as he slides to the 45-yard line. And he wanted a penalty at the end of that play. Manti Te'o, the rookie from Notre Dame, who again is wearing that in-helmet speaker for the injured Donald Butler. The tackle penalty marker came in late. And now they have picked up the penalty, so no flag after a first down run by Henny. Henny throwing sideline. Once again finding Shorts. And Shorts doesn't look like a guy who's playing with that injured AC joint, Steve, in his shoulder. He's taking on tacklers up the sideline. That time a pickup of 5.
You see him waving as he's walking off the field. That's the problem. You know, Cecil Shorts, what a warrior to get out there this week. Believe me, I've had a AC sprain, and it is painful. I cannot believe he came back and just trying to play in this ball game. But what a gutsy effort on his part, but already having problems with it.
Spoke too soon. It's that right shoulder that he sustained last Sunday in Denver. 2nd and 5. Here's Blackman. Quiet so far, right at the marker. As he's run out of bounds inside San Diego territory. Blackman has the first down after a pickup of 6.
The Blackman, last 2 weeks, as we said, as Cecil Shorts comes back in the field, last 2 weeks led the NFL, and Manti Te'o, quoting his coach, called Justin Blackman a game breaker, or game wrecker, excuse me. So they're going to be aware of where he is. It's going to be hard for Jacksonville to find ways to get him the ball.
Jacksonville drive started at the 20. Jones-Drew on his screen pass, so those short intermediate throws right now working for the Chargers. Jones-Drew run out of bounds by Cox after a run of 8.
Well, yeah, you can see the effect of having multiple weapons on the field for really the first time this year. Having Mercedes Lewis, Justin Blackman, Cecil Shorts, Maurice Jones-Drew, Denard Robinson. This is an offense with Chad Henne in direction that is really showing some signs of life.
Little run play on 2nd down and short. Needed to get to about the 36. So there's Blackman. Steve suspended the first 4 games, violating the NFL substance abuse program. They say he has been a changed man here. We know statistically he has been incredible the last couple of weeks. But everyone you talk to, Chad Henne, Gus Bradley, there was a concern in how he would come through the suspension. Boy, is he ever. As Henne lunges for the first down, needed only a couple of inches.
It doesn't look like he got the spot, though, Spiro. The way that the referees are coming in from the side, he might be a little bit short. And that was, in my opinion, unless Gus Bradley knows he's going to go for it on 4th down, 3rd and a full yard is a tough call for a quarterback sneak.
Steve, what do you do?
Well, I think you're the Jaguars. You're 0-6. You're at home. I think you've got to go for it in this situation.
They will bring out the chains crew. You saw Maurice Jones-Drew kind of limp off the field. And it looks as though they will be
half a yard short.
Well, here's another look at the replay. As Gus Bradley tries to decide what to do here. You see Jones-Drew gets leg whipped, it looked like, at the end of that play. That left ankle.
That is not good. That's the last thing Maurice Jones-Drew needed, and the Jaguars. This guy working so hard to come back from that Liz Frank injury that kept him out all of except 4 games last year.
60 is an eligible receiver. Number 60 is eligible.
So you hope it's nothing significant. Here we're going to have Jacksonville going for it on 4th down.
So Bradley will roll the dice. Why not? Down 14-0. Will Taufo, the fullback in front of Todman. Todman has the first down and a lot more inside the 30. So the aggression by Bradley pays off. Todman, the young man out of Connecticut, 7 yards and a Jacksonville first down.
Well, nobody had any doubt where this ball was going. The problem is if the defense, like the Chargers right there, they overcommit to the run. If they get past the first level, great job of blocking by the Jacksonville offensive line. There's a seam. All of a sudden, you're up on the safety. So that was a good open field tackle by San Diego.
Jones-Drew back in. Todman, the former Charger. 6th round pick of San Diego back in 2011. Henny on 1st and 10. Set. 3rd time the Chargers have gotten to him. It's the linebacker Thomas Kaiser, the 3rd-year man from Stanford, dumping him for a loss of 7.
Wow, geez, I love the call by Jed Fish. First down, going, taking a shot at a big play, but man, you got to be able to sense that pressure coming up. I think the pocket was pretty good. Chad Henne, you'd like him to step up underneath that. It's a lot of pressure on his left tackle, Cameron Bradfield. He was trying to run Kaiser by Chad Henne. Got to have a little sense of stepping up in that pocket to get that throw off.
Kaiser signed from the practice squad a couple of seasons in Carolina. 5th and a half career sack. Henne to the sideline, has his man Shorts. And Shorts is trying to grit his way through that very painful shoulder injury. 9 yards to set up a 3rd and 8.
That's a great word for it, Spiro. Grit his way through. It's going to be a battle. And you know, the thing with that kind of an injury is that if you have any kind of a setback, it just keeps it from ever getting back to full 100%. So sometimes you got to weigh the option of sitting for a week versus trying to play through it.
Shorts 31 catches on the season entering today. Henne 7 of 9 so far. 3rd and 8, incomplete. Off the hands of Blackman and a late marker flying in from the back. Sharice Wright, the 3rd-year man out of USC on the coverage.
Pass interference, number 29, defense. Ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
Well, the Chargers knew coming into the game. This is the kind of route that Jacksonville likes to go to. Justin Blackman, Sharice Wright in good position, but you see how physical Justin Blackman is, getting up the field, selling up the outside, and then coming back underneath. Sharice Wright had to grab on to try and propel himself in front to knock that ball down.
Maurice Jones-Drew keeping a couple of minutes ago, lines up. Next to Henne. Motion pre-snap left.
False start,
It's
number 78, offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
So Cameron Bradfield, the 3rd-year man out of Grand Valley State. And there are a lot of reasons, Steve, why you're an 0-6 team. Just bad penalties at the wrong time.
Yeah, Bradfield in replacing the 1st-round draft choice, 2nd pick in the draft this past year, Luke Jokel, and Gus Bradley writing notes to himself. That's the kind of plays, though. He talked about it in our meeting on Friday about how they had 9 mistakes at key points in the ball game that they have to eliminate. That was another one right there.
Let's say Jacksonville offense last in scoring, last in total yards. Maurice Jones-Drew has been better. A lot of questions, Steve, whether Jones-Drew would ever find his old form. He had more yards the last 2 games than he did over the first 4 weeks combined. At better than 140 over the last 2 games.
And it's not coincidental that he got more weapons. It coincided with Justin Blackman being back on the field, and now Mercedes Lewis, and you can see Maurice Jones-Drew's confidence rising to over 70 yards the last 2 weeks. May not sound like much for one of the best running backs in the NFL, but based on what he's coming back from, what he's been through, very, very significant.
So the Jaguars are worst in the NFL in touchdown percentage in the red zone. Justin Blackman starting to get hot. Quiet start. Did not have a catch in the first quarter. 5-yard pickup inside the 15.
Well, this is a Jaguars defense. It's ranked 32nd in a lot of different aspects right now, but they're making progress, and they did play better last week against the Denver Broncos. And is that a moral victory? No, but it's a sign for optimism, and they are feeling better about themselves. We'll see if they can cash in here.
This will be the 17th play of the drive for the Jaguars. 3rd and 3. Trying to get on the board. Henne to the 5. Batted high in the air and incomplete. Intended receiver shorts. And Jacksonville will kick.
Good solid coverage on the outside. Again on the slant route. Sharice Wright making the break. That was Cecil Shorts. Now, obviously not as big a physical receiver, a little bit bumped up on the outside. So, you know, he is a playmaker, a guy who's made a lot of plays for Henny over the last couple years, and Blaine Gabbert, but just not that time.
Chip shot attempt for Josh Scobie, 10th year veteran, 7 of 7 on the season, and that time perfect. So a 17-play drive yielding 3 for Jacksonville, 14-3 San Diego. Start your Monday night with a great hour of comedy. How I Met Your Mother, now followed by Two Broke Girls. It's all new tomorrow beginning 8/7 Central, only CBS. Beautiful Sunday afternoon in Jacksonville. Chad Henne, longest drive of the season. You see him there seated next to his first-year offensive coordinator, Jed Fish, trying to figure things out for a Jacksonville offense that is dead last in points against a San Diego team that enters the day at 3-3. So 14-3, Phillip Rivers, 9 of 9 through the air so far. Back on the field next.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Quicken Loans for a mortgage experience that's engineered to amaze. And by Fruit of the Loom. Start happy.
You scored. Chargers onto the field for their third offensive drive. They've scored on a couple of 80-yard drives, one 13 plays, the other 10. As Phillip Rivers will line up from the gun, 1st and 10 from the 20.
Watch out for Antonio Gates up the middle of the field.
Draw play to Matthews across the 20. And a pickup of 4. So Phillip Rivers, 9 for 9 through the air, we told you. On pins and needles a little bit, Steve. His wife Tiffany expecting the birth of their 7th child at any moment. She was expecting maybe last weekend, so getting a little antsy in the Rivers household. And
7 kids.
7. There's Matthews, 2nd straight play. Close to the 30, about a yard and a half short of the first down marker. If there's one guy you don't have to worry about focusing, Steve, through something like this, it's Rivers. Chad Henne, of course, his counterpart today. His wife giving birth to their couple's first child, his son Chase, earlier in the week, last Sunday. So 3rd and 1 play. Can this Jacksonville defense get off the field as the Chargers spotted at the 28? Rivers, quick release, 1st down. Danny Woodhead, he has been Mr. 3rd down the last couple of seasons. Did it with Tom Brady in New England, and what a connection between he and Rivers.
Well, they went empty backfield right there, which tells the Jaguars you're going to throw the football, because Phillip Rivers, hate to say it, is not a running quarterback. They're not going to run many quarterback draws with him, but still able to execute. And that's because they have so many weapons, and Danny Woodhead is so versatile. A quick, easy throw for the conversion.
Hey, hot! Hey! Hey, Buffalo! Take down!
First and 10, draw play. Rivers giving to Woodhead. Steve, what a combination it's been. Mike McCoy, offensive coordinator last couple of years in Denver. There, Ken Whisenhunt, his coordinator here. Whisenhunt, all that experience in Arizona. One thing McCoy told us yesterday that he really takes pride in with this offense with the Chargers is that they adapt week in and week out based on who the defense is.
Yes, and they have so much mind power between Ken Whisenhunt and Mike McCoy. Gus Bradley described it as a passing game more like Denver, where Mike McCoy came from Peyton Manning, and a run game from Arizona, but then everything really ends up being a blend.
Rivers out of the shotgun, 2nd and 9. Busy first half for Gates. As Rivers still pitching a perfect game so far. 10 of 10, he's over 111 yards. And for Gates his 4th reception for 24. So tack one more on for Rivers. As we reach the 2-minute warning in Jacksonville, 14-3, you're watching the NFL on CBS. Back with you in Jacksonville, final 2 minutes of the first half. Philip Rivers and company with the football. They line up from the 40 in a critical 3rd and 3. You see what they've done so far. Perfect on 3rd down. Danny Woodhead back onto the field, lining up next to Rivers. Rivers faking to Woodhead, and a 1st down pass to the rookie Allen. Sliding catch at the 45.
Well, your receivers can't expect a perfect ball every time. Right there, Philip Rivers, he could have thrown a better ball, but Keenan Allen just making a great adjustment, catching that on his back shoulder, earning more confidence from Philip Rivers.
Rivers on 1st down, finding Woodhead. Woodhead, the dangerous open field runner inside Jacksonville territory, right at the marker. A pickup of 9, and now they say 10. As San Diego with the 1st down. Woodhead, the 38th reception of the season, most by a running back in the NFL. Verizon halftime report comes your way next. We'll send you to New York. JB and the guys will have all the scores and highlights. The Verizon halftime report coming up next. Clock continues to run. Chargers 2 timeouts. Rivers to the sideline. What a catch! Gates with a one-handed stab at it.
But I'll tell you what, Spiro, that's one that Philip Rivers would give up the completion for. They took a timeout. If he gets that ball out in front.
Team timeout. San Diego.
Antonio Gates could have run out of bounds. We'll be back in Jacksonville.
Steve, kind of a rare scene there where the catch by Gates, as nice as it was, almost did the Chargers a disservice.
Yeah, it keeps the clock running. Instead of an incomplete pass, it would have stopped the clock and saved the timeout.
So Chargers down to their final timeout inside of a minute to play. This will be 2nd and 6. Rivers, if you've just joined us, yet to throw an incompletion, 14 of 14. Rivers off balance and right on cue. Ball hits the ground for the first time today, trying to target Allen. As the Chargers will have it 3rd and 6. Andre Branch on the pressure.
Yeah, you see Branch off the left side coming up. He's the one that gets the pressure on Rivers that really disrupts his throw. I think Rivers wanted to throw that skinny post on the backside to Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen was open. I think Philip Rivers makes that throw in his sleep if Adrian Branch doesn't make the hit on him.
Well, Branch has taken a lot of criticism here by the local media. Tough penalty last week, but starting to show some signs. 3rd and 6. Rivers from the gun. Jaguars coming. Rivers over the middle, sliding catch by Allen, still going to the 10, to the 5, and finally brought down on a touchdown saving tackle by the linebacker Geno Hayes.
Oh, what a brilliant catch by Keenan Allen. Let's see if he brings this thing clean. It might be reviewed. You might get a challenge on that.
Chargers quickly get to the line, a run of play. They don't replay it. No challenge flag as Woodhead is stood up just short of the goal line.
Gus Bradley was running down the sideline trying to call a timeout before that snap.
And final team timeout. San Diego.
That's what
30-second timeout.
That's what the people are booing about. Gus Bradley was running frantically down the sideline trying to call a timeout before that snap, but the referees were too far away. They could not see him or hear him. Gus Bradley wanted a chance to have some time to decide if he wanted to review that play. It's too late.
That's a huge turning point. It's too late now. That play did count. And you can see him mouthing the words, "I called timeout," jawing at one of the referees on the sideline. So a 36-yard pass play, Rivers to Allen. And San Diego knocking on the door again with a chance to go to a 21-3 lead.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, and he is 100% right.
Steve, you're out of timeouts here for the Chargers. What do?
Well, you got to throw. What do you got? You have 19 seconds. I think you have to throw the football And you got enough time to get it. If you can run, you got enough time to spike it. It's second down, so you do have enough time to spike it and get one more shot at it.
Woodhead lines up in the backfield, second and goal.
I think you got to pass. They're going empty backfield. They don't want to take a risk and not get the next play off.
Rivers, end zone, knocked down and incomplete, and a late marker. Allen Ball defending against the rookie Allen. Geno Hayes in the middle of that scrum as well.
Well, that marker really is pretty irrelevant.
Pass interference, number 23, defense. Half the distance to goal. First down.
It gives a first down, but there's 16 seconds on the clock. I guess it's not, they get half the distance, so it is a significant play. And right there you can see definitely Ball had his hands around the waist of Keenan Allen. So the correct call, the ball still needs to be moved a half yard closer to the end zone.
Can Gus Bradley's defense dig in here and somehow keep San Diego out of the end zone? 16 seconds, Chargers are out of timeouts. The Chargers team at 3-3 looking for consecutive wins for the first time this season. Jacksonville, of course, at 0-6, looking for their first win.
Yeah, I think it's going to move a half inch closer, or half yard closer, excuse me. There you go. And so now the threat of a run more present because it's a half yard closer, but there's only 16 seconds on the clock. I don't know if you risk running the football, coming up short and trying to get spiked. I think you got to throw it again here.
12th play of the drive, first and goal. The Chargers inches away. Rivers rolling out, scanning the end zone, incomplete. Jacksonville covering on the back end, Royal the nearest receiver. And a big decision coming up here with 11 seconds left and no timeouts for the Chargers.
Well, you watch the coverage by the Jaguars, Spiro, in the back of the end zone. He's trying to get the ball to the corner of the end zone. Keenan Allen or Eddie Royal in the flat, but great coverage by Jacksonville. Smart play by Phillip Rivers throwing that ball away. They'll try and throw it one more time here, and then if they don't get it, Mike McCoy will kick the field goal on third down.
You see Rivers telling his players to hurry up, play clock running down. Second and goal. Inside the one. Rivers to the end zone, incomplete. And what a hit. Late marker coming in. Josh Evans, the rookie safety out of Florida, on that hard hit.
This one really is irrelevant, though, because I think Mike McCoy is going to kick the field goal either way right now.
Well, that was a second down play, so they'll have one more here. There is only 7 seconds, depending on if they want to take a chance.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 24, defense hit to the head, half the distance to the goal. First down.
So it was Will Blackman on the hit. Steve, what'd you think?
Well, but I think it was the right call. You had 2 flags, but the question is Mike McCoy willing to roll the dice and try and run one more play? 7 seconds left. Got to be a quick one. Phillip Rivers holds that ball at all. You know, he's a veteran quarterback. You don't expect him to make a mistake. But it doesn't matter because they're going to throw the ball on this play no matter what. So I like the aggressive play by Jacksonville.
Officially, it was Evans on the penalty. First and goal inside the one. Rivers going to tuck it away, lunges to the end zone.
They don't get in.
No signal yet. And what a finish for Jacksonville. They gambled, Steve, you talked about it. And Rivers comes up short.
It had to be a quick pass or nothing.
The runner was short of the goal line. The half is over.
Unbelievable.
Well, you know, it's going to be debated one way or the other, especially if it becomes a factor in San Diego not winning the ball game. You could see Phillip Rivers was down before that ball crossed the goal line.
Well, no one would ever call Phillip Rivers conservative. The Jacksonville defense digging in and holding their ground. End of the first half, San Diego 14, Jacksonville 3.
Will be reviewed.
We will keep it here. They will review, so we will keep it here for a moment. Players from both teams are already halfway into the locker room. And they're setting up for the halftime show here.
It's the correct call because it was close enough. It definitely warrants a review. It's inside of 2 minutes, so those plays are automatically reviewed, especially with a potential scoring play.
Well, on a day and a half where Rivers, Steve, has been nearly perfect. 15 of 17 for a $172 and a touchdown. That's a decision that could be second-guessed if Jacksonville somehow comes back and wins this game as they continue to look at the replay.
So there's a lot of factors here, Spear. Where does the knee hit? Where's the ball when the knee or the elbow hit the ground? We're going to get a chance to look at this. And you tell me what you think here. Let's watch his knees. What's the first part of his body to hit the ground? The knee is down right there. Go back just a little bit. We'll see. The knee is down right there. You can see the ball is definitely not crossed the goal line. That was the correct call. And, you know, I don't know who to fault there.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The runner was short. The half is over.
Excellent look by our fantastic CBS crew. End of one half, 14-3. You're watching the NFL on CBS. The Verizon Halftime Report is next. Halftime score here in Jacksonville as we get you ready for the third quarter. 14-3, San Diego in front. Diet Pepsi encourages fans to bid on pink gear to benefit the NFL's A Crucial Catch campaign. Show your fan enough by visiting NFL.com/auction to bid for pink. Hi, everyone. Welcome inside our CBS broadcast booth. Spiro Ditas and Steve Berline with you. Phillip Rivers, the story in that first half. Nearly perfect, Steve. Just 2 incomplete passes, but the excitement for San Diego tempered a little bit as Rivers was stuffed on that final play of the half.
Oh, the first half could not have gone any better for San Diego or Phillip Rivers. As you said, a nearly flawless first half got just marred at the very end. The ball couldn't have been further than maybe 3 inches from the goal line. And Mike McCoy makes a decision to try and get one more play in before kicking a field goal. And we talked about it before it happened. We talked about the risk of something bad happening. It's maybe a 1 in 100 opportunity for something like this to happen, but guess what? It happened. You got the incomplete pass right there, the pass interference call. The real question was, and this was great defense on all of these plays by Jacksonville, another penalty right there, but again, it really didn't affect anything. The last question was, do you go for it on first down and try and get one play and then kick a field goal if you don't make it? Jacksonville stood up. Phillip Rivers held short of the goal line. San Diego comes out of it with no points. That is a shame. That could be a huge factor in this ball game, and it'll be questioned if it is a factor in this ball game.
Jacksonville to receive as we are underway in the second half from Jacksonville. 14-3 your score. Chargers 3-3 entering the day. Jaguars, of course, looking for their first win at 0-6. As we take a look, Steve, at the first half numbers, time of possession really one-sided at the end of the first, but Jacksonville starting to close the gap.
Well, the whole first half was pretty much one-sided for San Diego. There were some signs of life out of Jacksonville, but they had to settle for the field goal instead of getting a touchdown deep in San Diego territory. But fortunately for them, it's only a 14-3 ball game. A lot of football left.
Henny from the gun turns, gives to Jones-Drew at 23 yards rushing in that first half. He left the game momentarily with what appeared to be a left ankle sprain. Looked like it could have been, Steve, a lot worse than it was. That run of 7 sets up a 2nd and short.
Well, very, very lucky for Jacksonville to see him back on the field, because that is the kind of injury that could end up setting a guy out for a little bit of time. But Maurice Jones-Drew bounced back.
Henny again from the shotgun, same exact play as they move the chains, and a late marker coming in behind the line of scrimmage after Jones-Drew picked up 4 and a first down.
Personal foul, grasping the face mask, number 65, offense. 15-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
That's the left guard, Will Rackley, the 30-year player out of Lehigh. And again, these penalties as at the worst possible time for Jacksonville.
That's absolutely terrible. That's a huge penalty. You see the first half possessions for Jacksonville, only 2 of them, but a huge penalty by Will Rackley at the end of the play, right there, grabbing the face mask right in here, and that's inexcusable. You had 3rd and short, now you got 2nd and 15.
So it negates the first down run. This is 2nd and 14. Henny over the middle, finds Blackman across the 25 and forced out of bounds by the linebacker Kaiser after a pickup of 11.
Well, Chad Henne, he's going to try and find ways to get the football on the move to Justin Blackman. He's, as we showed in the open, when he gets the ball in his hands after the catch, he's very, very dangerous right there. A great example.
3rd and 2, needing to get to the 30. Fake by Henne. No one fooled. Manti Te'o, the rookie linebacker from Notre Dame, pushing Henne backwards.
Well, this is the play they ran earlier successfully. It's the read option with the guy that's not a very good runner, Chad Henne. They found something that they thought would catch San Diego off guard. They went to the well one too many times. Manti Te'o says, "You got me once, you will not get me again." Great play by the rookie, being very disciplined on that tackle.
Keenan Allen back deep to return. The punt from Brian Anger. Had a chance to visit with Manti Te'o yesterday. As thoughtful a young player as you will find in the NFL. What a situation in San Diego. And what a play by the rookie with a crunching hit. Phillip Rivers and the Chargers back onto the field when we come back. Well, 3 drives of multiple plays for Mike McCoy's offense so far in this game. That last drive of the first half stalling. Phillip Rivers stoned at the goal line by the Jacksonville defense. Is on the field. First, second half drive with his Chargers in front, 14-3. Danny Woodhead on the field, lone setback. Rivers from the gun inside the 20. Rivers has time, throwing to the near side. He has his man, Ladarius Green, with his 2nd reception. Huge first down pickup across the 45, a pickup of 26.
Well, you see the brilliance of Phillip Rivers here. Watch his eyes. He looks left. He tries to pull the safety to the left, and that creates the space for Ladarius Green. It's the little things that the established, proven quarterbacks do. He knew right away he was going to try and throw that ball to Ladarius Green, because you can't make that throw late. But his eyes didn't get over there until right when he let go of the football. Great play.
Draw play. This is Ronnie Brown's 2nd carry of the day inside Jacksonville territory. Well, the defense bailed him out, Steve, with that hold at the end of the first half. But at some point, San Diego is going to get closer again.
Well, they got to make a stop, though. I mean, before they get down to the goal line, Jacksonville's defense, their offense only had the ball 2 times in the first half, because Phillip Rivers and the San Diego offense did exactly the same thing last week against Indianapolis. They're doing it again today.
Timber!
2nd and 1. Brown again, first down. Inside the 45, tackled at the 41. After a pickup of 4 yards. We talked about what a great chemistry there's been between Rivers and McCoy. Had a chance to visit with McCoy yesterday. 41-year-old head coach, 2nd youngest in Chargers history, behind only Al Saunders, who was 39 as the Chargers head coach in 1986. And McCoy told us flat out, the fact that Rivers was here, a bona fide star quarterback, made his decision to take the San Diego job a whole lot easier. As Rivers gets to Matthews around the edge, ducks inside the 40, and brought down at around the Jacksonville 36. And despite the 500 record, Steve, there's a feeling that maybe San Diego could be a much better team than people had initially expected.
Well, they've got a lot of weapons, and the key, as we pointed out throughout the game, is these young receivers stepping up. Ryan Matthews getting confidence, running the ball last week. They beat a very good, respected Indianapolis team last week soundly. That's great for your confidence.
Clock continues to run inside of 11 minutes to play. This is 2nd and 5. Markers coming in from the bottom of your screen. Looks like a false start against the Chargers.
False start, number 66, offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
It's Jeremy Clary Just had to bounce around the offensive front. If you just joined us, King Dunlap, their starter left tackle, went out with a concussion. His day is over.
Yeah, you saw Clary right there, right tackle, jumping. Phillip Rivers hard count. He's one of the best at it in the league. Tries to keep the defense honest, but your offensive linemen have got to be on the same page too.
Just come down and stay there. Run, 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 run!
Gates in motion on 2nd and 10. Rivers selling the play action, throwing sideline incomplete, and a rare drop by Keenan Allen, who has been so good. Another penalty marker thrown behind the line of scrimmage. Told you about Allen's numbers, over
Holding,
300
number
yards.
74, offense, 10-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
And that's Clary's 2nd straight penalty.
I think they might have actually got Rich Ornberger on it. That's number 74 right here. You see him right there in the middle of the screen, tackling Jason Babin. And those are the kind of penalties that put an offense in a hole after the 2nd and 20. But remember, in the first half, Jacksonville, one of the key plays was some Derek Marks with the unsportsmanlike conduct in a similar situation, gave San Diego a 1st down and eventually a touchdown.
So after the penalty, 2nd and 20. Rivers back foot throw, finding Woodhead on a screen pass. Woodhead so dangerous. Inside the 40, still gone. Blackman brings him down at the 25 after a 26-yard run from little Danny Woodhead.
There is nothing more disheartening to a defense than something like this to happen right now. And the unsportsmanlike penalty in the first half was a big deal as well, but Danny Woodhead get the ball in his hands. What a great call by Ken Wisenhunt, Mike McCoy, whoever made that call. Perfect time to take a nice, safe, short pass to a playmaker and see what he can do with it.
You see what Woodhead has done. 40 yards, 3 catches today. That one sets up a 1st and 10 from the 25. Draw play to Matthews, makes the first guy miss. Hayes, Matthews a 1st down run. Up the sideline and inside the 20 as San Diego moving now 13 yards from Matthews. It'll be 1st and 10.
Oh, this is a great run by Ryan Matthews, but a terrible effort on the tackle right there by Hayes. He's got to make that play. It's a 4-yard loss. If he can make that tackle, instead it becomes a big gain for San Diego. They're knocking on the door again.
Hayes, the 60-year veteran, the man with the big shoes to fill of Darryl Smith. 9 years with Jacksonville, of course, moving on to the Ravens. Another long drive from Rivers and the Chargers. Matthews on the take. Collision at the 10 after a pickup of 2 yards. Clock continues to run, under 9 minutes to play in this 3rd quarter. A San Diego team that is looking for consecutive wins for the first time. 2 of their 3 losses, Steve, coming by 3 points. That week 1 disappointment in Houston, a game in which they blew a 21-7 lead. They have had some big wins on the road in Philly and home wins against Dallas and Indianapolis last week. This is 2nd and 8 inside the 10.
Man-to-man coverage. Look for Antonio Gates here.
Rivers gonna run it. Stumbles ahead to the 5. 4-yard run. Everyone covered, Steve, downfield.
Smart play by Phillip Rivers. You're going to see across the board. Right here you got Antonio Gates, middle of the field. That's where he wanted to go with the football, but there was a double. There was what they call a vice on Antonio Gates. A linebacker underneath, safety over the top. Good, smart decision by Phillip Rivers to save the down, give himself another shot.
Chargers have been awfully good on 3rd downs today. 6 for 6. Here they need to get to the 1 on 3rd and 4. Rivers, little shuffle pass. Gates, after that first collision, lunging forward. Looks like the football came loose late. No signal from the officials.
And there was no whistle either. That ball must have popped out.
Well, who's got it at the bottom of the pile? Gates, the 255-pound tight end, and the Chargers thought they had it. No signal from the officials. Jonathan Cyprien comes out of the scrum with it. And it looks as though it will be San Diego football, so they will retain and send out the field goal unit.
And we'll see. What a great play by Gino Hayes. You're going to see this is a shovel pass to Antonio Gates. Gino Hayes makes up for the bad one with a good initial hit right there. And is that ball? Well, that thing wasn't
from that vantage
popping
point,
out.
it looked like it came loose, and the challenge marker has been thrown by Gus Bradley, who tried to get one out there late in the first half on that Keenan Allen reception.
Yeah, he definitely wanted that one in the first half, at least a timeout, and he lost out on that deal. He challenged right here. That red flag went out on the field, so it's clear what he wants.
Call on the field is Chargers ball.
Jacksonville is challenging the ruling on the field that the runner was down.
And Steve, I'll tell you what, from that first replay, it looked like that ball had come loose. So 14-3, they'll look at it at a critical juncture midway through the third.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Nationwide Insurance. Nationwide is on your side. And by Kelley Blue Book. Everything you need to make a smart new car decision is at kbb.com.
Play under review. You'll see it here. Gates the reception, and from that angle, looked like the ball comes loose right there, Steve. Allen with the strip.
That's where the strip takes place. Now look, his knees were not down when the strip took place. Okay, so the other angle is going to show you where the strip took place. Right there, his knees are not down. That ball is out. That's the key factor.
Our referee is Walt Coleman. It was Jonathan Cyprien, the rookie safety, coming in with the recovery.
Yeah, great strip by Russell Allen.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Jacksonville will be charged with their first team timeout.
I don't understand that one. I'd like to get clarification on that. That, to me, the strip took place before Antonio Gates' knee hit the ground. And the ball definitely came out. You could see the strip from the end zone view.
We'll try to get a better explanation from the replay booth up here. From our vantage point, it looked like it was clearly out.
And remember, it's got to be inconclusive, but I thought that was pretty good, conclusive evidence that that was definitely a fumble.
So a 20-yard field goal attempt by Novak. He was perfect on the chip shot. So San Diego retaining possession. Keenan Allen, meantime, being escorted into the Chargers locker room. 17-3 Chargers. 4 possessions today for the Chargers. All 4 have resulted in a score as Novak punches in a 20-yard field goal. And the explanation we have been given from the instant replay booth is that, Steve, there was no clear recovery. The ball was out before Gates' knees hit the turf, but no clear recovery. And so San Diego retained possession and boots in the field goal. Todman muffs the kick out of bounds, and a touchback. Jaguars will have it at the 20. See why millions of fans have followed Person of Interest to its new night and time. Don't miss a new episode Tuesday night, 10/9 Central, only CBS. Antonio Gates, a guy, Steve, who never fumbles. Just a couple since 2003.
Well, I disagree with that call still anyway. Clear recovery, I understand that's part of the rule, but right away Jacksonville is claiming they had the football. Cyprien came out with the football.
I agree. I'm with you. 1st and 10. Henne over the middle finds Jones-Drew across the 30. Jacksonville has hurt themselves with a lot of costly penalties today, but they just haven't been very lucky either.
They have not been lucky. And you can take it a step further and you say, well, okay, it was ruled that he was down. So it's got to be shown clearly that San Diego did not come up with a football. Well, what a tough break for Jacksonville.
17-3, San Diego in front. Can Henne and this offense generate anything? Over the middle, they find it. The intended receiver is Mike Brown. Big first down pass play. 44 yards to the air. Brown with his first reception of the afternoon.
Well, set up by the nice play action to Maurice Jones-Drew. Big hole in the middle of the field. Great timing for the call from Jed Fish. Mike Brown, a young receiver that Jacksonville feels very, very fortunate to have, stepping up, establishing himself. They're really starting to gain a lot of confidence in him. Big play for Jacksonville.
Henny on first down. Sideline throw finding Shorts. So Mike Brown returning last week from that very dangerous lower back injury. Broke a vertebrae in his lower back in the opener here against Kansas City. Signed last season as an undrafted rookie.
Another converted quarterback as well. Denard Robinson, the more highly touted, but Mike Brown, a quarterback in college as well, Liberty College.
2nd and 5. Henny, another screen pass to the sideline. It's Shorts. Shorts the cut back inside the 10. And it will be 1st and goal for Jacksonville in what is by far their best drive of the day. That time 12 yards through the air.
Well, watch the great block right here by Mike Brown where he just made a nice play catching the football. This is a converted quarterback now, by the way. Watch this. Boom. That's what springs Cecil Shorts down the sideline for the big play. Great job by the converted wide receiver, making 2 big plays in a row.
Signed last season off their practice squad out of Liberty College. Jones-Drew, the little battering ram, taking on tacklers at the 6. Picks up 3 as Jacksonville getting closer.
Don't tell him you called him little. He is
only
a
in
load.
height.
He's got some power, man. Look at him drive those legs. And I tell you, he is getting more confident in that foot. You know, that's a major surgery for running back. That Liz Frank surgery that knocked him out last year early in the season. He's getting more and more confidence every week. That spells trouble for future Jaguars opponents.
What a career it's been. You see his career touchdown numbers. 2nd and goal from the 5. Henny lofting to the end zone. It is incomplete. Excellent coverage on Mercedes Lewis as Marcus Gilchrist, the 3rd-year safety, was there.
You called it right, Spiro. Marcus Gilchrist, great play. He's guarding a 6'7" man in Mercedes Lewis. 6'7", 260 pounds. They've got him listed at 6'6". I think he's 6'7". He's a monster. What a great play, though, by Gilchrist, because that's what Henny wanted. One-on-one, put the ball up high, let his big man go up and get it.
Lewis coming back today with that long calf injury, missing all but 2 snaps before this afternoon. This is a huge 3rd and goal play from the 5. Henny gonna loft it to the corner, caught by Blackman, and now they say he was out of bounds. An incredible effort by Blackman, but he did not get that 2nd foot inbounds.
You say incredible by Blackman, I say incredible by Chad Henne. That throw right there was spectacular. Does he get that foot in? No, he did not. Boy, that is a great call by the official. Look at him throw this ball right now over the top, on the money to Justin Blackman, but he just could not get the ball. That's security guard. I feel bad for him.
And now decision time. Gus Bradley's going to think about it. Down 17-3 in a 4th down play coming up.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Windows Phone. Meet the new Windows Phone, the smartphone reinvented around you. And by Land Rover, above and beyond.
So Gus Bradley will not roll the dice. He'll send out his kicker, Scobie. Steve, what about the decision? You're 0-6. You finally get a deep drive. You're right there. And they're going to send out the kicking unit.
No, I don't disagree with the decision, but I'd like to see him go for it. I know it's 4th and 5. He's probably doing the right thing, but a field goal doesn't do much for you here. It's still an 11-point ball game, still a 2-score game. And the way San Diego's moving the football, you haven't stopped them all day.
Jaguars' 2nd field goal, again a little bit closer, 17-6. 17-6 after the 23-yard field goal by Scobie. As we played late stages 3rd quarter, the drive for Jacksonville, 75 yards, 8 plays in just under 3 minutes. And the decision by Gus Bradley to kick the field goal, did not elect to go for it. It would have been a 4th and 5 from just outside the end zone. This will be fielded by Lavelle Hawkins, trying to cut back across the middle of the field and gang tackled back around the 10. 17-yard return by Hawkins. J.T. Thomas getting there first. 2014 Pro Bowl balloting open and unconferenced for the first time ever. You can vote for the best players regardless of conference. Then Pro Football Hall of Famers Jerry Rice and Deion Sanders will draft unconferenced teams as alumni captains. Vote now for your favorite players at NFL.com/Pro Bowl ballot. Little tweak to the Pro Bowl coming up. As Phillip Rivers back onto the field, 3:46 to play. We are in Jacksonville, week 7. 17-6. Chargers trying to make it 2 straight wins for the first time this season. Alongside Steve Berline, I'm Spiro Vitas, our entire CBS crew with you. This is 1st and 10 from outside the 15. Rivers slinging it sideline. Allen lost his helmet. The rookie leaving the field, went into the locker room earlier in the quarter. Steve thought he was held.
Well, let's see what happened on this play. How does a helmet just come off? It's kind of ripped off. You know, that is not a face mask, but that has got to be some kind of an infraction. I don't know what you'd make a call on there, but you can't rip somebody's helmet off.
It was Will Blackman on the coverage, starter since week 2 after the injury to the rookie quarterback Dwayne Gratz on opening day. After the incompletion, 2nd and 10. Rivers stepping up in the pocket. Sidearm delivery completes to the 30-yard line. Vincent Brown, first down hookup, 14 yards. That sidearm delivery, Steve, from Rivers.
Yeah, watch him just flick it out of there. Good low throw away from the defenders. The safety was breaking on that ball as well. And a nice, tough catch by Vincent Brown. Going to the ground over the middle, getting him out of their own end zone. That's a big play.
Brown missing all of last season with the broken ankle. As Woodhead onto the field, takes the handoff from Rivers across the 30 for a minimal gain of 1. Back to New York and an update with James Brown.
Slugfest the Jets are provided.
Oh, the Jets coming off a defensive interception for a touchdown. They're going to get a sack, a punt return, and Geno Smith 8 yards out, 14 unanswered points, and the Jets take the 24-21 lead late in the 3rd quarter at the Meadowlands.
Getting it done with the legs, Spiro and Steve.
Well, never a dull moment for the Jets and Geno Smith. Hard team to figure out.
That's pretty impressive. Geno Smith bouncing back and taking the lead on New England.
Here in Jacksonville, 2nd and 9 for the Chargers. Rivers from the gun. Sidearm throw again, completing to Royal. Had the big catch earlier in the first half. That time brought down at the 40, about 2-3 yards short of the first down marker.
Well, what we're seeing, you know, Phillip Rivers has got a great presence in the pocket. He's not a great athlete as far as movement is concerned, but what he does is so important to be successful as a passer in the NFL. He moves in the pocket, buys time. He's not moving around to run. He's moving around trying to buy time to get the ball to his receivers. We've seen 2 great examples the last 2 plays.
Rivers playing without his left tackle. Dunlap lost to a concussion earlier. Woodhead, the first down run, getting right to the marker. And that is what he has done and made a living on, Steve, the last couple of years. He has been Mr. Third down, first down, Chargers.
Well, Mike McCoy told us, you know, he's such a luxury to have because you can tell him to play any position literally on the field except offensive line. Tell him to go out there, call a play. He'll know exactly what to do, and he'll do it well, and he'll produce for you. That's what he does.
Well, he's the new Mr. Darren Sproles here in San Diego. And a chance to talk to Woodhead yesterday. Says he's flattered by the comparison. Doesn't dwell on it too much. It has been so effective early in his Chargers stint. Woodhead right on cue, makes the reception. They put him all over the field in the backfield, Steve, in the slot. And split him out that time 8 yards as they approach midfield.
You might think it's hard to find a little guy like Danny Woodhead. It is a lot of times, especially over the middle, but right there you saw a nice lane for Phillip Rivers. And you give credit to his offensive line right now, too. Those guys that have had to move around, you know, Clary going out to right tackle, Ornberger coming in, and Fluker coming out to left tackle. Phillip Rivers is pretty clean right now, all things considered.
This is 2nd and 3, could be the final play of the quarter. Ryan Matthews inside Jacksonville territory, running downhill to the 40. And they finally mark him down. Jonathan Cyprien, the safety, playing with that calf injury on the tackle after a 12-yard burst from Matthews. End of 3 in Jacksonville, 17-6 Chargers. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Start of the 4th quarter in Jacksonville, Chargers with possession and a 17-6 lead. Chad Henne's been on that sideline a whole lot today. 13 of 18 for $160. Just hasn't had many opportunities as San Diego has owned the time of possession category for his 2nd straight week.
And you see Eric Weddle right there. He told us in our meeting yesterday that the best defense is sitting on the bench. That's what this San Diego offense has been doing the last 2 weeks. This is almost a exact reprint of last week's game against Indy.
Kept Andrew Luck off the field Monday night in San Diego. Matthews inside the 35. As Matthews approaching 100 yards at his first 100-yard game in 2 years last Monday night. He is now over 90 after a run of 7.
Well, how similar is this to last week? Last week the Chargers had 24 first downs to Indianapolis' 12. They ran 24 more plays. Today, San Diego 25 first downs, Jacksonville only 10.
2nd and 3, screen pass to Royal. Royal cuts back across the field, excellent block, springing Royal sideline, inside the 20 to the 10, and finally brought down. Ball comes loose late. Branch has it in the end zone. Waiting for the official signal. It is Jacksonville football, and they'll have it at the 20. What a break for the Jaguars after an incredible play by Royal.
We're going to see, though, Spear. This might be reviewed because look at his knees.
Recovered in the end zone, and the runner stayed in the end zone.
He's
so we have
down.
a touchback. First down at the 20.
I think this one's going to be overturned. I think he's down by contact before that ball comes out.
Automatically reviewable on any score or turnover. And that time clearly looked like Royal was down.
Yeah, Mike McCoy will challenge this for sure.
Our referee today is Walt Coleman. We've had a couple of reviews. It was Andre Branch on the recovery as they will look at it. And we'll take a break. Early 4th quarter, 17-6. San Diego in front. This play under review. The call on the field was a fumble by Royal, but see, this one clearly looked like Royal was down right there.
You can
still
see,
has it.
I'm sorry, Spiro. You can see the elbow right there, and you can see the rear end right there, both clearly on the ground before that ball comes out. Cyprien made the nice hit, but down right there. Then the ball comes out.
Andre Branch recovered it for Jacksonville in the end zone.
Yeah.
Jaguars defense already has gone back onto the field. Our referee today, again, is Walt Coleman.
And Spiro, Phillip Rivers knows the rules maybe a little better than his head coach. This is funny. Rookie head coach Mike McCoy wants to challenge this. Didn't remember that all turnovers now are automatically reviewed. Phillip Rivers comes over and says, "Hey, don't throw the flag because that's the Jim Schwartz rule." He's like, "Here, pick it back up, pick it back up." Then McCoy says, "No, I don't want to challenge. I don't want to challenge." He knows the Jim Schwartz rule about challenging a play that really is not challengeable.
After reviewing the play, the runner was down with possession of the ball at the 3-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for San Diego at the 3. San Diego is charged with their first team timeout for throwing their challenge flag on a play that is not reviewable by the coach.
Well, they caught him. Mike McCoy didn't get away with it.
Rookie head coach.
Yeah. The ruling stands, but the penalty is enforced.
And with that pass play, Steve, how about this accomplishment? Another milestone, 30,000 career passing yards for Phillip Rivers. You see Dan Fouts at the top of the Chargers all-time list. Over 43,000 yards, our CBS colleague. But what a run it's been for Rivers. 10th year in the league. 8th year as San Diego's starting quarterback. Spending 6 of those last years with Norv Turner.
He's the 5th. We mentioned it earlier. 5th fastest in history to get to that yardage mark. That's pretty darn impressive.
Hey, Steve!
First and goal after San Diego's 26th first down. Matthews, and he's in. 23-6, San Diego, as Matthews just powering his way inside.
Now this is a strong statement game for San Diego and for Ryan Matthews, running the ball again well for the 2nd week in a row. Offensive line getting physical up front. Nice, strong, physical into a great drive again by San Diego, who benefited. By the way, they've benefited most of the time today on these little breaks. The turnover questions that have happened all day, they've gone San Diego's way.
First touchdown run for Matthews, and his first rushing touchdown of the season. Point after from Novak makes it 24-6.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Acura. Meet the extremely new 2014 MDX at Acura.com/MDX. Fidelity Investments. Take control of your personal economy. And by Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL.
Well, near perfect offensive day for San Diego. In the meantime, Chad Henne and Jacksonville, after that last long drive, stalling inside the 5. They'll get it back down 24-6. One-time Charger. Jordan Todman back deep in his own end zone. And Novak with the boot. Going to be played by Todman. Across the 20 to the 25, out past the 30. And brought down after a return of 33 yards. Get inside the mind of a quarterback. Join Phil Simms, Rich Gannon, our Steve Berline, and Adam Shine on NFL Monday QB. Tomorrow, 6:30 Eastern on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. A lot of games to break down around the NFL. Looks like Novak is a little bit hobbled after that play. So here is Henne. Stevie had a couple of great throws on that last drive. The potential touchdown to Mercedes Lewis, excellently played by Gilchrist, the Chargers safety. The other throw to Blackman, and Blackman didn't get his second foot in. Henne buried again. Second sack for the linebacker Thomas Kaiser.
That's the second time he's run around Cameron Bradfield, but look, Henne, you know, is it his fault? No, it is not his fault that he got sacked on that play, but he needs to understand that his tackle is trying to run that guy by him, so he's got to be able to step up in the pocket. There was no inside pressure. He could have been able to step up and avoid that.
Lost to 7, 2nd and 17. Henne nowhere to throw. San Diego's secondary blanketing the Jacksonville wideouts down the field. Larry English among the tacklers for the Chargers.
You know, we were talking about earlier with Phillip Rivers, how I said he works the pocket, he steps up, and he made those throws as he's stepping up in the pocket. He's stepping up because he's feeling that pressure from the outside. Right there, Chad Henne decided to step up, which was good, but then he decided to run it. I'd like to see him step up and try and make a throw somewhere.
3rd and 17, Henne. Nowhere to throw down the field, goes sideline to Brown. Right at the original line of scrimmage, but well short of that first down marker. And how about the Chargers defense, Steve? We talked about Justin Blackman at the top. Incredible numbers over the last 2 weeks since his return from the 4-game suspension, and he has been awfully quiet.
Well, I'm talking to Eric Weddle and Manti Te'o. They both said the same thing. This guy, we are going to know where he is on the field. We'll roll coverage to him. We'll do whatever we've got to do to keep him from having one of those days, as Manti Te'o said, a game record type of day, and they've done a super job with that.
Anger on to punt. And Allen will play it from the 12. Cuts back across the 20 and brought down just short of the 25-yard line. All Phillip Rivers at San Diego. on CBS. There's John Pagano, the highly respected defensive coordinator for San Diego. Emotional victory last Monday night against his brother Chuck, head coach of Indianapolis. And what a defense Pagano's unit has been. Last 3 weeks, Steve, entering this one today, they had allowed the second fewest yards in the NFL, behind only Houston. 1st and 10, Matthews, big day. Right around the century mark, cutting to the outside across the 25 after a pickup of 3.
On that note, Spiro, John Pagano, last week against Indianapolis, he held the Colts to 267 total yards, 2 of 10 on 3rd down. Today, Jacksonville 195 yards total offense to this point, 2 of 8 on 3rd down. That means your defense is getting them off the field. The only scoring plays the last 2 weeks have been 3 field goals by Indy, 2 field goals today. Great defense.
You saw the numbers on Matthews' second straight game of 100 yards rushing. He hasn't done it in 2 years. He's done it in the last 2 weeks. This is 2nd down. Matthews again creeping towards the 30. So San Diego, Steve, a lot of time left, barring a miracle comeback by Jacksonville. This is a Chargers team that's going to creep over 500. Obviously a ways behind Kansas City and Denver in that AFC West. But you talk to Mike McCoy, people around this organization, they've gotten through some of the early hiccups, couple of close losses. And here they are now with a chance to finally get over the 500 mark.
Yeah, win their 2nd game in a row for the first time this year. And they're on to something. Their style of play is really starting to kick in here. The way they're just, they haven't punted all day today.
Rivers 22 of 25, 7 of 8 on 3rd down. His pass deflected at the line of scrimmage, and finally Jacksonville's defense able to get off the field.
Yeah, the ball batted down. I don't think Phillip Rivers really had a clear shot to deliver this ball anyway. Batted down. I think that was Derek Marks that got his hand up. But for the first time today, we got a punter on the field for San Diego, Mike Cyphers.
Is that the old broadcaster's jinx?
Yeah, it was exactly. First 3rd down, didn't convert.
Old Blackman back deep to return the punt by Mike Cyphers. Fair catch signaled inside the 25. And that is where Chad Henne and company will take over 1st and 10. Coming up next, more NFL on CBS comes your way. And most of you will see Houston heading to Kansas City to take on the unbeaten Chiefs. Baltimore, Pittsburgh in that bruising game in the AFC, and Cleveland heading to Lambeau to take on Aaron Rodgers and the Pack. We're in Jacksonville, week 7. San Diego big in front of the Jaguars. Spiro Dedes, Steve Berline, our entire CBS crew. Jacksonville looking for their first win, but right now down a bunch. Eddie airing it outside line. Wide open is his man up the sideline is Mike Brown, tiptoeing, dancing his way inside Chargers territory. 31 yards and a 1st down.
Yeah, Mike Brown just running a little wheel route at the sideline. He gets totally lost. That was a bust. Should not have happened. Derek Cox, a former Jaguar, not only did he not keep his discipline and remain outside and see Mike Brown turn it up, but he also missed the tackle.
Jones drew the lone setback. Play action from Henne. Rolling right. Throwing on the run. Caught. Busy day for Cecil Shorts. 7th reception of the afternoon. 14 yards and another 1st down.
Well, that's what I'm talking about with Chad Henne right there. Great job. He felt the pressure coming from in front of him. That time he saw it. He stepped underneath, bought a little bit of time, and then delivered a strike on the outside. It's harder to see out of the back of your head, but you got to be able to sense it.
Chad Henne making his 2nd straight start, 4th of the year for the injured Blaine Gabbert, who went down with that hamstring strain a couple of weeks back in St. Louis. 1st and 10, Henne tripped up, stumbling forward. Brought down just behind the original line of scrimmage. Now, they haven't scored a lot of points, Steve. They're trailing again big here. Could go to 0-7, but the feeling you get talking to Gus Bradley and people around the organization here is that at this point, it's basically Chad Henne's job to lose.
Well, he made it clear that if they won a game, it'd be pretty darn hard to make a change. Now, they're going to have issues until they win a game. But they definitely feel good as the incomplete pass is thrown by Chad right there. They're gonna have a decision to make at some point if they don't win. But Chad has established himself as a leader on this team. They have played better. Now, it's not coincidental that they also have their weapons on the field more so the last few weeks as well. That's made a big difference. But he has brought a presence to this offense that they really seem to like right now.
And Lewis missing all of the first 6 games of the season. Finally back today. Maurice Jones-Drew trying to work his way back to full strength. On 3rd and 11, Henne throws, completes out of the backfield to Justin Forsett. Free agent signee from Houston. Clock stopped at 9:13.
That's just a nice play. You got man-on-man coverage. You got a good receiver running back out of the backfield, Justin Forsett, and good coverage on the play. But shoot, it was a well-thrown football and a nice pickup, giving them a chance at a 4th down conversion here.
So 4th and 1, nothing to think about, down big. Henne bobbles the snap, his pass deflected. It's Kaiser who got a hand on it, and that is the kind of season it's been for Jacksonville.
You hit the nail on the head, Spiro. I mean, they got a 4th down conversion opportunity, and they can't get the snap.
What a day it's been for Kaiser. A couple of sacks and a play on 4th down to get it back to the Chargers.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Aflac. When you're sick or hurt, Aflac pays you cash. Find out more at Aflac.com. And by Subway Restaurants. Try the Tuscan Chicken Melt $6 footlong special today.
Beautiful day to be on the water here in Jacksonville. AFC West. You see Kansas City and Denver. Peyton Manning and the Broncos taking on Andrew Luck and the Colts. And there are the Chargers here, right behind them. 3 games back, trying to get to 4-3, over the 500 mark. Ryan Matthews, 2nd straight day of at least 100 yards. Tyson Alu on the tackle. There's Gus Bradley. And people that have not been around this guy, Steve, just can't possibly understand how positive a guy he is. A very different approach than most head coaches that you'll experience. And, you know, he told us in our meeting, we had them week 1, and he said, look, you know, it's easy for players and teams to buy into what the coach is preaching. It's another thing if you start losing. As he kind of looked ahead, he knew this would be a struggle of a year. And here they are now, potentially looking at 0-7. And while everyone has been very positive, you just wonder how long that message will continue to be heard by guys in that Jacksonville locker room. Matthews again, 2nd and short, going backwards. But you know, this is going to get tougher if you're on this Jacksonville team as these losses start to pile up.
Well, it's going to get tougher for sure. But when Gus Bradley, I mean, admit it, when he walks in the room, it just picks up the room. We've talked to him twice. He is just an infectious personality. And you talk to the players. Chad Henne told us, he said he's the most positive energy person he's ever met. And he said at first he thought it was phony. But he said, you know what? He is like that every single day. Jason Babin said the same thing. And Jason Babin, he's not gonna, you know, pull any string. He's gonna be shooting straight with you. He said the same thing. I can't believe how positive this guy is every single day.
Markers come in, whistle that play dead. You know, Babin.
Full start, number 89, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
We talked with Babin on Friday night, and you know, Babin said, look, I've been on bad teams, but there's never been such a positive vibe around a group that is winless this far into a season. Babin talking about some of his early days in Houston. How long can Bradley keep these guys in this mindset, Steve, as these losses start to pile up?
Well, there's no way to tell on a question like that. But if anybody can do it, Gus Bradley can do it. I mean, this atmosphere around here, unbelievably, is so positive. No matter how much the losses pile up, they still keep doing it.
There's Woodhead on 3rd down. Chargers just trying to pick up some positive yardage. As Cyphers will punt for the 2nd time today. Another late marker comes in right at the line of scrimmage.
After the play is over, personal foul, number 74, unnecessary roughness on the offense. 15-yard penalty, 4th down.
2nd penalty on Rich Ornberger, who's come on
half the distance to the goal.
After the injury and departure of King Dunlap, who left the game early with a concussion, if you've just joined us. So So after the penalty, they'll pin them back inside the 15-yard line. Cyphers to kick from just outside his own end zone.
And again, give credit to that Chargers offensive line. Now they're just trying to run the clock out. They've had 2 punts the last 2 drives, but they have stepped up under adverse situations or conditions. Done very well.
Cypher's such a reliable kicker. Boots it away as Jacksonville fielding inside the 45-yard line. Blackman on the catch. And Henny and company back on the field. Saturday, it's the Home Depot SEC on CBS. Justin Worley in Tennessee getting down and dirty with A.J. McCarron and the defending champions, top-ranked Alabama. The hoopla begins with college football today. In Jacksonville, Spiro Dina, Steve Berline, our entire CBS crew. All Chargers right from the start, 24-6. Under 7 minutes remaining. Henny under center, 1st and 10. His pass deflected at the line and incomplete. Henny's numbers today, 17 for 25. Steve hasn't thrown a pick, no touchdowns. Hasn't made that huge mistake. Well, they just can't seem to piece together many long drives.
No, they can't. And again, you got to give credit where credit's due, and that's the Chargers defense playing at a high level. But Jacksonville has had opportunities. They settled for 2 field goals deep in San Diego territory. They've had mistakes at the wrong time, both sides of the ball, that have been significant in the outcome of this game.
2nd and 10. Henny able to locate Blackman finally. Just the 4th reception for the 2nd-year Blackman, who I have to say may have the softest hands, literally, of any guy I've ever met. We had a chance to sit down with him on Friday, and you asked him what kind of lotion he uses. It was a little bit uncomfortable for a moment.
You had to bring that up, didn't you?
I had to. 1st and 10. And he throwing, and it's intercepted. Talked about him avoiding the big mistakes. Marcus Gilchrist, who's had a monstrous day at safety, on the interception.
Now this is one of those things. You're in a desperate situation. You got to throw the football. The defense is playing pass all the way. Complete miscommunication by Justin Blackman and Chad Henny right there. Hits Gilchrist right in the chest. You know, I think Henny thought that Blackman was going to continue up the field. Now my question is, heck, he's going to, if he continues up the field, he's going to run right into Gilchrist anyway. So I don't think that was the best place to throw the football. And Blackman sure wasn't expecting it. That's a fact.
5th pick thrown by Henny, and the mass exodus here well underway. Fans heading for the parking lot. This fan base who just has not had much to cheer about over the last 10 years. Chargers keep it on the ground right at the 50. We come up on 6 to play. As we take a look at the statistical leaders, quarterback comparison. As precise as you can be, nearly perfect was Rivers. Steve, 22 for 26.
And again, going over 262 yards today, he would have hit the 30,000 barrier. What a huge accomplishment. I don't know if people really understand what a significant major accomplishment that is, and to do it 5th quickest of any player ever to play the position is absolutely spectacular.
Second and 9. It's the fullback McClain. Now the other thing Mike McCoy said, so much criticism leveled on Phillip Rivers the last couple of years. He said, look, Rivers was the least of San Diego's concerns. It's everyone else that had to play better. And boy, the old gunslinger over the years, as excitable, Steve, and as animated a quarterback as you'll find in the NFL. This is why his teammates have loved playing for him. Not afraid to get down and dirty.
I love it. I absolutely love that. It rubs the defense the wrong way once in a while. But I had a little bit of that in me when I played, and I just love the passion. I used to get in those little jawing matches as well, and sometimes your coach, your teammate have to say, hey, listen, man, you don't have to block those guys. Don't upset those guys, because
2nd team timeout. San Diego.
Our big guys
30-second timeout.
I told you about Rivers' wife, Tiffany, expecting the birth of their 7th child at any moment, but this has been a marriage made in heaven between Rivers and McCoy. There's Ken Wisenhunt.
And that's Frank Reich, the back of Frank Reich's head right there, the quarterback coach, old quarterback from Buffalo.
Well, here was Rivers' numbers, the combination, the averages over the last couple of years. There was talk that he had regressed, either he was on the downslope of his career, but boy, he is on pace to shatter some of his own statistical numbers 7 weeks into the season.
Well, and those numbers aren't bad from 2011, 2012. They just weren't Phillip Rivers. And there's Frank Reich right there. Good buddy of mine, a former Buffalo Bills backup to Jim Kelly for a lot of years. When he had the opportunity to step up in the greatest comeback in the history of the NFL, Buffalo over Houston in the playoffs, he's the one that led that comeback.
Matthews running left. Matthews now 21 carries, over 110 yards on the afternoon. Last time Matthews ran for better than 100 yards in consecutive games, you have to go back to 2011, late November through mid-December. He did it 3 straight games. And boy, what an added dimension that would be if they can find consistency now in the running game, Steve, with Matthews.
Yeah, and these young receivers stepping up as well as Antonio Gates. It's good stuff. And, you know, I think the difference, too, with Phillip Rivers, back on him, is that not only are the numbers better this year and really impressive, but they're also the mistakes that he was making the last couple years, the difference makers, those have been eliminated.
Excellent play on the coverage. Stuckey able to catch that punt from Cyphers. 44-yard kick, and that is Cyphers' specialty inside the 20. Has been one of the best all time. And there, the reaction from Rivers. We've been seeing a lot of that over the last decade.
He's into it, man. I just, you can't help but smile.
Other statistical leaders around the NFL. Week 7, big day for Matthew Stafford. His fantasy players watching the games very intently. First down run by Maurice Jones-Drew. Hard collision as Jones-Drew's 10th rush of the afternoon, over 40. As we take another look and listen to this collision, Justin Forsett on the right.
That was Jaleel Aday, the rookie free agent out of Central Michigan, with that hit. Boy, that was a pop.
Incompletion on the little short throw, set up a 3rd and short with 3:24 remaining. Chargers will fly home after this one today, have a bye week next week as they zero in on their 2nd consecutive win. Forsett again on 3rd and short, 2nd boost across the 20. And has enough for a Jacksonville first down. Torek Williams, the rookie linebacker, on the tackle. Rushing leaders around the league today, week 7, early games. Ryan Matthews, you see what he has done here. 3 touchdowns for Matt Forte and just under 100 yards for Chicago. Heading through the air. Little step back, turnaround catch by Shorts. 8th reception for him, over 60 yards. That time, 23-yard hookup. Receiving leaders around the league today. Again, from the early games. Harry Douglas, 7 catches. A big day for Calvin Johnson. We saw the former Charger, Vincent Jackson. Forsett, long setback, 1st and 10. Eddie to the sideline. Just too little, too late from Blackman, as they have blanketed him for much of the afternoon. A reminder coming up, time permitting, after the game, the NFL Today update presented by Aflac, JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cower from New York. We'll have all the latest scores and highlights. And he pressured. Pass incomplete, late penalty marker from the San Diego secondary. Chargers defense today playing 2nd straight game without their leader in the middle, Donald Butler.
Holding, number 77, offense, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Looks like Uche Waniri on the holding penalty. Now, Steve, so many young and inexperienced, not only players on the roster, but of course Gus Bradley, the rookie first-year head coach at 47. David Caldwell, the first-year general manager here in Jacksonville, just 39 years of age. All trying to figure this thing out. As Jacksonville in danger of dropping to 0-7.
As you talk about that, Spiro, you know, the key factor obviously is going to be the quarterback position for the Jaguars. You know, what do you do with what you've got right now? Is it going to be Chad Henne, or do you give Blaine Gabbert another chance? All the documented issues he's had with limited resources, but this is a team that's getting better offensively. They're getting healthy now, getting Blackman back. Do you give Henne a chance to finish out the year? Do you give Gabbert a chance, as we see another completion to Brown on the outside? Do you give Gabbert a chance to see what he can do with some weapons on the field? It's a tough call for Gus Bradley.
16-yard pass play to Brown. Mike Brown, 84 yards receiving, now over 100 with that last reception. There's Blaine Gabbert going down in St. Louis a couple of weeks ago with the hamstring. It's always been something with him in terms of the injuries. That broken thumb in the preseason. He had the lacerated hand last time we were here in the opener against Kansas City. Had to miss time after that freak play. Wide open is Brown, the sideline, and what a return it's been from Mike Brown. Broken vertebrae in the opener against Kansas City. He has come storming back, but that picture tells the story. 24-6 on CBS. Well, Chargers have their defensive starters on the sideline. They've come back with them now. Manti Te'o on the field.
They don't want to give up a touchdown here. They want to keep the two-game streak alive without giving up 6 points.
I'm out.
See Mike Brown's numbers. The Jacksonville receiver, 1st and goal. Henne loft into the end zone, batted down by the former Jaguar Derek Cox. Second time Henne has tried to locate Lewis in the end zone, and incomplete.
And this is a pretty good throw, but it's not a perfect throw. If you get that thing up there a little bit higher where it gets over the top of Cox, you know, give your big man a chance to get his hands on it. But still, great defense by Derek Cox. I mean, that is a tough assignment to help cover a guy who's half a foot taller than you.
2nd and goal. Henne going through his progressions, rolling out, throwing end zone, incomplete. Through the hands of Mike Brown, right on the coverage. So Chad Henne, 300 yards passing in consecutive weeks for the first time since 2010. Steve, nowhere to throw.
Well, I think this is John Pagano, defensive coordinator, and Mike McCoy kind of challenging their first team defense. Say, okay, we need to stop, guys. Let's pretend this is a significant situation. We got to make a goal line stop here. Let's see if we can step up and do it. Get back out there.
3rd and goal from the 7. Henne, middle end zone, incomplete. Shorts had it right in his hands, and he knows it.
Yes, you're right, Spiro. That's a catch that Cecil Shorts are making us sleep. Very well thrown ball by Chad Henne. You know, his shoulder, is that a factor there? Who knows? I mean, think about it. If your AC joint and your shoulder's hurt and you try to reach up for a ball, maybe you don't have the strength. Maybe it bounced off that. The bottom line is if he's playing, he's got to make that catch. That's a very well thrown ball by Chad Henne.
I'm going to go for it here on 4th and goal. Shorts has been so good for this team. Uncharacteristic drop. Henne set. And San Diego's defense keeps him out of the end zone again. Reggie Walker, the 5th-year linebacker from Kansas State, is fired up.
You're right, Spiro. Again, he is fired up. Chad Henne nowhere to go with the football, and then Walker just fired through that gap. I think Henne thought he had some space back to the left side, and it's just more to be depressed about for Cecil Shorts and his Jacksonville teammates. Tough day, another tough day at the office.
Well, there are some fans that are still holding tough. There's a Chargers fan we just saw, but this a Jacksonville team that has scored 11 points in 3 home games now. 3rd straight lopsided defeat at home, and a 7th consecutive double-digit defeat for Gus Bradley's Jaguars. Meantime, Phillip Rivers, Frank Reich enjoying a light moment on that sideline. Chargers will have the week off next week. They'll take on RG3. The Redskins' disappointment, Steve, just 1-4 before the big one at home for Denver on November the 10th.
Yep, that's a challenging schedule. They're going to have their work cut out for them, but there are no, as you know, there are no easy schedules in the NFL. And you know, this is the seventh, as you said, Spiro, seventh double-digit loss. Only Houston in 1984 losing 10 consecutive is worse than that. As we look at the Jaguars schedule coming up,
they'll have their bye week after next Sunday. San Francisco coming to town. And you just wonder where that first win is going to come from. The Jaguars franchise that has won only one playoff game since 1999, one playoff appearance since 2007. And the misery continues here as Jacksonville falls to 0-7. Chargers, meantime, winning consecutive games for the first time this season as they enter their bye week at 4-3.
Gus Bradley's going to have his work cut out for him, and as we've been talking about, if anybody can do it, he can, but I sure wouldn't want to be in his shoes tomorrow.
Big day for Antonio Gates. 6 catches, 31 yards. San Diego winning it 24-6. Your final. Coming up next, most of you will see Houston, Kansas City, and Baltimore, Pittsburgh. Now for Steve Berline, this is Spiro Dedes saying so long from Jacksonville. Special thanks to Ryan Galvin, our producer, our director, John Coleman. Coming up next, the NFL on CBS. NFL Today update presented by Aflac.